Hey guys, Marsing here bringing you a Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to be talking about what we can expect to see from the Daima Super Saiyan 4 Goku banner, which of course is going to be releasing on the 29th PST is what they announced in the live stream. Obviously this means that for me and anyone else in the EU or any times further ahead than that, time zone wise, it will actually be coming out the morning of the 30th, which is good. I mean, it works both ways, like regardless of time zone, but he is basically going to be coming out on Dokkan Day, so there will be a bunch of free tickets for him and things like that, which will be good. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the summon or skip video that I will do. Usually the night before the banner comes out is when I usually do those, but today we're going to talk about what I think we could see on the banner itself. Now, we haven't had the data download, so one of the big questions that remains unanswered that we will know by the time I do the summon or skip video, because we'll have had the data download by then. One big thing that we don't yet know is whether this banner has a pity system or not, right? Because normally the banner at this time of the year would just be a normal filler Dokkan Fest. Now, even though this is a hype release and they've announced it on a live stream and everything, there isn't really anything to indicate that this isn't just essentially a quote-unquote filler Dokkan Fest, even if it is just a more hype option. So I don't know 100% whether this banner will have pity, because remember, things like the Saiyan Day banner and stuff like that don't have a pity thing. I assume that this banner will, but we won't know for sure until we see the data download, because obviously that will have the new coin in it, if this is going to be a pity banner. So we don't really know much going into this, but I'm going to speculate for who we think would be on the banner, at least some of the units, not the entire banner lineup, because obviously banners always have random older SSRs, and sometimes there'll be units that are very clear that that's the unit that's going to get an easy A, and then other times they're obviously just old units that are on there to pad out the banner, especially if it is going to be a banner with pity, because then obviously that means that the banner is going to be 10 featured units, so there probably will be at least one or two like older SSR like Dokkan Fests who are not going to be easy Aing in this celebration, potentially even have easy A's that are already outdated, but just to fill the slots on the banner. So obviously Daima Super Saiyan 4 Goku is going to be on there. I'm not going to go into details of his kit or anything in this video. We've done that in previous videos, so do check those out, but we're just going through the banner lineup. So obviously we know we're going to have Daima Super Saiyan 4 Goku as the headliner, and then we also have the Daima Mini Piccolo as the support. He seems very, very good. He is what a banner unit should be, in that he is a massive buff for Goku's team, and you obviously do, you know, if you pull the Goku, you do ideally want to pull this Piccolo as well to have him on the team for all of the extra support. So that's 2 slots on the banner. So if we go ahead and take a look at Dokkan info here, this is the banner for Lord Slug. So as you can see from the date, right, this is the banner that came out essentially in this time period last year. It's kind of crazy to think that Lord Slug is actually a whole year old, because I remember summoning for him. He was a super fun unit on release. I think he was much better on release than some people gave him credit for, but he did age fairly quickly. I think he was still decent in some of the anniversary content, but yeah, he's pretty outdated now, unfortunately. But this was his banner, and he released in that previous time slot. A lot of the things that Dokkan often does is have characters that released in that time slot, like the year before, like be back on the banner. I think that's why Piccolo and Gohan were on here, because they were an October Dokkan Fest at one point. So I do think it is a very, very strong possibility that we will actually see Lord Slug on the banner. But then, yeah, as you can see, this was a pity banner, so we have 10 featured SSRs. Bojack, I believe, got his easy A, right, in that celebration, so that's why he was on the banner. And then, was that around the time, when did Tech Beer a super easy A? I think that might be why he was on the banner as well, right? But then you've got characters like Kale, who I think for, at least for global, was an October release when she eventually came out, but obviously outdated. Super Trunks was already outdated. Definitely STR Cooler, even with his EZA, and same with Physical Piccolo. So you can see these banners, there's often a lot of older units on there that are just not relevant, but they're there to just pad out the numbers, especially when the banner has pity. So if we talk about the units in particular, like I say, I think that Lord Slug definitely has a high possibility of being on the banner, especially when we think about Goku's leader skill is Pure Saiyans or Demonic Power. So obviously, even though it's probably not in any way, shape or form like an optimal setup, you can run Slug on Daima Goku's team. Now, obviously, with the buffs that Daima Goku gives, he wouldn't be on the full 200%, because he's not on Dragon Ball Seekers, is he? Yeah, he is. Yeah, of course. I was going to say, he uses the wish from the Dragon Balls to become young again, right? So actually, I think he is actually on the full 220 leader skill for Daima Goku, which is kind of funny. But obviously, he wants Demonic Power allies on the team. And actually, none of his other restrictions are for like extreme allies or anything, which is kind of interesting. I guess his domain buffs Demonic Power allies, but it increases damage received by super class allies, which is unfortunate. Because like the Goku is a super class ally who is also an Earthbred fighter, so it's not the best combo, plus no big bad bosses. But yeah, Slug, I have a very good feeling will be on the banner. Not that that's necessarily a good thing or not, because like I say, he's not that great anymore, and he's not great for Goku's team, but I think he's going to be on the banner because he was the unit that came out in this time slot last year, and he's on Demonic Power. Now, the big one that I think a lot of people are waiting for and have been speculating is that I really think that this Kid Goku is going to come back for the first time on this banner, because he has still not yet returned, and usually the Saiyan Day character returns in October. In fact, back on this Lord Slug banner, the Tech Vegeta was not on this banner. He'd already returned a couple of banners previous. I think he actually came back on the AGL Scouter Vegeta banner, which was technically in October. I think it was at like the beginning of October. So usually the Dokkan, the Saiyan Day character, returns during October. I believe the first time years back, when it was Majin Vegeta on Global, the Int Majin Vegeta came back on Global's like Halloween banner, and that was one of the first times that like the Saiyan Day unit came like back for the first time a little bit earlier than usual. And so yeah, there's been like a trend of October, especially around Halloween kind of time, for the Saiyan Day character returning, and obviously Goku has not returned a single time up until now. He is of course a Pure Saiyan, and he is a Dragon Ball Seeker, so he is on the full team for Goku. He only needs a Dragon Ball Seeker ally to get his entrance animation, which obviously the Goku will be on. So yeah, this all works out pretty nicely for him to be on the banner, him to be on the leader skill for the new Goku. He's still relatively decent. Obviously, he is a slot 2 unit ideally, because he gets a lot of buffs when he attacks and gets all the dodge chance and everything, but he can still be relatively decent. So him coming back for the first time now, units with the power creep that we've been seeing lately are very much more commonly falling into this unfortunate trap where when they return for the first time, they're already starting to be kind of outdated. But this Goku's definitely still useful in some other events for sure. Now, those are the 2 units that I think are the most likely to come back. When it comes to other units on the banner, I feel like we could, because it is a Daima banner, I feel like we could definitely see Glorio and the Int Goku. Because usually with dual Dokkan Fest characters, they don't return separately from each other, but we have seen in the past them both return on the same solo banner. Like often these characters will of course return during other dual Dokkan Fest like Golden Week and New Year's and stuff like that, right, where you'll have one on one banner, one on the other. But it has happened before where these dual Dokkan Fest TURs return just both on the same banner, and obviously it makes a lot of sense for this release because both of these guys not only are on Goku's full leader skill, but obviously will be pretty good for his team as well. Like Glorio is still pretty good as long as the events don't disable dodge, and to be fair, he can be a victim of rotation locking because you ideally just want him in slot 3 all the time. But I feel like for Goku's team especially, like this guy is going to be a really, really good addition to the team. He, of course, does get the full 200%, 220% leader skill. So I think Glorio is going to be very, very good and probably like an auto include on Goku's team. And then this guy, of course, has the ability where he raises allies attack by 41% for 2 turns with his super attack effect, which obviously stacks if he supers multiple times. So that is going to allow the Goku on the next turn, the Super Saiyan 4 Mini Daima Goku, on that next rotation to do potentially absolute insane damage, especially when combined with Glorio, combined with like the Piccolo support. So I feel like this guy will potentially see a bit of a comeback being on this team, and of course he'll get the full 220 lead as well. So both of these guys I feel like will have a spot on the Goku team, and I think putting them both on the banner is a really good idea for Dokkan in general, because bad for players I guess, because yeah, they want you to summon, right? This is the ultimate bait banner, Mini Daima Super Saiyan 4 Goku, a release that people have waited for. He's really good, but it's in this build up to the anniversary where you really should be saving your stones. So for them to really try and bait people as hard as possible to summon on this banner, I think having Glorio and the Daima Goku on here, when both of them will be super good additions to his team, so if you pull them while summoning for him, that's obviously going to benefit your Goku team significantly. I think them doing that in terms of like their business strategy, right, is a good idea. So I could very much see both of these guys being on here, because we don't really have any other summonable Daima characters other than the Super Saiyan 3 Daima Vegeta. And I guess I didn't actually put him on the list here, but let's go ahead and bring his thing up here quickly, because I feel like he could be on the banner. I feel like he's returned fairly recently though, but obviously he is another character that is on Pure Saiyans and Dragon Ball Seekers, so he'll be on the full leader skill. I think people are a little bit disappointed with his release for sure, but of course like he'll be on the 220 lead for Goku as well. Goku gives support, that team is full of support. Like this Vegeta could actually be relatively good on that Goku team with all the support that's going to be flying around. Obviously he was much better even on release if you were using him with the AGL Super Saiyan 4 Goku that gives everybody extra defense and damage reduction. So that combined with all of the other support that's available on this team, like this Daima Vegeta could actually be relatively good again. I feel like the banner's going to actually be crazy stacked, right? If it has this guy and then it has like all 3 of the big like Daima units, including the Goku, like this I feel like makes the banner pretty strong in terms of like, because all of these guys, arguably Vegeta could be questionable, but like all of these guys would work really well on Goku's team. This guy can go on Goku's team, even though it's not necessarily the ideal build for him. So that would make the banner like really, really strong, I think. And then in terms of some of the other slots, right, I thought Tech Saiyan Day Vegeta could potentially make a return, as of course he is another Pure Saiyan character. He's another Saiyan Day unit, even though this isn't the Saiyan Day banner itself, but him returning on here I guess makes some kind of sense because he is a Pure Saiyan character. The only problem of course is because he's from earlier on in the Android / Cell Saga, he doesn't have Bond of Parent and Child yet, this version of Vegeta. He's obviously not on Dragon Ball Seekers, so I don't think he would be on the full leader skill. What is Goku's full leader skill again? I can't remember. Dragon Ball Seekers. Oh, Time Travelers is the other one, of course. So yeah, he's not going to be on the full lead for Goku. So potentially not going to be on the banner, but I really feel like all 3 of the Daima Dokkan Fest exclusives could be on there. So it will be like a proper Daima banner, which I think would be really good. You'd have 5 Daima TURs on there with the Piccolo and the Goku. Now, otherwise, when it comes to the other random filler like units on the banner, like Demonic Power, it could be any of the characters from here. I'm trying to think of characters that could be getting an Easy A soon. AGL Kid Gohan is a unit that is due an Easy A sometime soon. He's not like the oldest unit without an Easy A or anything, but he's definitely in line for an Easy A, and he could actually be really, really good because obviously he's on Demonic Power because all Gohans are. And then, of course, he's on Bond of Parent and Child, because basically all Gohans are. So he'd be on the full leader skill for this Daima Goku. And then not only is he a unit that stacks defense, his unit super attack requires a Piccolo, which we're going to have because we've got the new mini Piccolo. And then obviously he has an active skill, which you can use when you're on, I say low HP, but it's 58% or less, which gives you a heal, guards all attacks for 1 turn, and raises all allies defense by 20% for 2 turns. Now, the only annoying thing with this guy is they can't change active skills with the ECA, which means that it's probably unlikely that he's going to get any sort of like guard in his base passive, because his active skill gives him guard. I guess he could get conditional guard, because even if the condition is really easy to meet, it means his active skill just giving him guaranteed guard for the turn still does make some kind of sense. Because if he just had guard in his passive, it would make it in his active skill completely pointless. So he could have conditional guard, but the other way around it, I guess, is just give him damage reduction in his passive. And then obviously on his active skill turn, he guards. But even on the non-active skill turn, if he's got enough damage reduction, he's got enough defense in his passive, and he's getting defense when he super attacks, like he would still be able to be usable. And of course he's a unit that's giving a ton of support, all allies 3 key, defense 58%. They could quite easily make that attack and defense 58%. Obviously they love the 58s in the passive because it's Gohan, but yeah, this guy could be really, really good as an easy A for the Goku team. So if he's on the banner, I feel like that is almost a certain like indication that he's going to get an easy A, right? Because other than that, demonic power, it's definitely like a weird category. The other one, I mean, I'm going to talk about it in a separate video, like who I think is going to easy A in this celebration. But like Orange Piccolo and Beastless Gohan are on demonic power, which would be absolutely insane. Because like I said, this is still in a way technically still just like a filler Dokkan Fest. If they easy A'd those guys, that would be absolutely insane. But otherwise, in terms of demonic power, it could be anyone on the banner really, in terms of who's just there to fill a slot. In terms of who's there and actually getting like an easy A, I definitely think the AGL Kid Gohan is a really solid option. I'm trying to think for like super easy A potential as well, but again, I will go over that in more detail in a separate video. But there are some units that if they end up being on the banner, will be pretty clear that like they're there because they're going to get an easy A, right? And the other part of his passive is obviously Pure Saiyans. I mean, we skipped over the Majin Vegeta easy A as part of the baby celebration, which I would have thought would have made a lot of sense to have happened. He is on Bond of Parent and Child, so I mean, he's on Goku's full 220 lead. So if he gets an easy A during this celebration, that would obviously be pretty good. The blue Goku Vegeta, the ROF Blues, they are on Goku's full 220 lead and weirdly didn't get their easy A, even though the Angel Golden Frieza, the AGL Golden Frieza, I should say, got his. So these are the kind of units I'm talking about where, like, if they're randomly on the banner, like the ROF Blues, Int Majin Vegeta, that AGL Gohan, like if they end up on the banner, it's probably because they're going to super easy A, right? And then we've got characters like the Int Blue Vegeta here, who's in line for a super easy A. There's like the physical legendary Super Saiyan Broly, but he doesn't really fit, I think, because he is a pure Saiyan. That's the thing. Goku having pure Saiyans as a leader skill gives him the option for tons of characters on his team. But these guys, especially a lot of the extreme ones, are not getting the full 220 lead, so I wouldn't necessarily think that they are going to get one. So in terms of the units that I would say I'm fairly confident will be on the banner, we've obviously got the Saiyan Day Kid Goku. I think Lord Slug will be, even though it's not necessarily ideal. And I do think that Glorio and the Daima Goku will be on there. Vegeta, I'm not so sure. It might be the case that it's either Vegeta or Glorio and Goku, and not like all three of them. But I think all three of them would be really, really good. And then, yeah, I think we could see you. And then I'm sure this guy, I don't think we'll see him other than if he's going to get an easy A. So if this guy's one of the featured units on the banner, I would absolutely be calling that means he's getting his easy A. But as I said, I will do a separate video, which will probably be up tomorrow, going over who I think all the easy A's and super easy A's will be for this Daima Goku celebration. So do make sure to go check that out when it does drop. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Who do you think will be on the banner? Do you think it's going to be worth summoning on? Will you be skipping? I, of course, as I say, will be doing a proper summon or skip video for the night before the banner comes out. But do let me know all of your thoughts about the Daima banner. Is it pity? Is it not? Will it have 3+1 maybe? Who knows? Let me know down below in the comment section what you guys think. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.